So if I speak like this,
Imagine if I started the podcast with that.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
think we should do the entire podcast.
Is this the first time you've done something like this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Were you excited or a bit nervous or
Yeah, excited.
yeah?
Now that I've got the headphones on and the microphone
like,
right
oh,
now, I'm
shit.
nervous. Welcome to this special episode of our podcast. Today, we are thrilled to have Hayley Wilson as our guest. Hayley is an exceptional individual who has embarked on an inspiring healing journey to become the healer she is today. Not only is she a healer, but she's also an empath, intuitive, talented photographer, artist, and a designer. Balancing her many roles, including being a devoted mother, Hayley brings a unique and profound perspective to her practice. Join us as we delve into the captivating story and explore the experiences and insight that have shaped her path to healing.
And welcome back, everyone, to another fantastic, interesting, informative, informational podcast show of Hayley Wilson. Welcome to the show, Hayley.
Thank you for having me.
It's great for you to be here.
We're going to be asking Hayley a few questions. So if you see us with some papers in our hand, we're just going to be asking some questions just to get to know Hayley and for Hayley to share her story with you guys.
So what initially drew you to the field of energy healing? And was there a special event or experience that sparked your interest?
Not particularly. There wasn't a experience or event that happened. I was just an empath, a very intuitive child, and felt like I was not receiving the guidance that I needed from my parents or adults around me as a child. I was pretty non-verbal and just constantly observing adults around me and interpreting their dysfunctionality from my child brain. And I didn't have any siblings or kids to be off playing with, so I was sort of thrown into an adult's world and sitting in the corner observing it all. And then as I grew up, I was craving that emotional guidance, which I was receiving from my pets. I had a dog and a horse, and I got it from them. But as I got older, I was craving more spiritual guidance. And then I think that came in the form of, I had a psychologist when I was 15 or 16, which I got pushed into by my mum. I didn't want to go. And she was a clinical psychologist who was also a psychic.
Oh.
So I got the best of both worlds, and I saw her for 6 months, and she really changed my life. And that's where I met you, Jason, because she was working out of the Angel Healing Centre in Bayswater.
Yeah,
and,
Guardian Angel.
yeah, and you also worked there. And then I started doing one of your psychic development courses as a teenager. And
Because I found out that you were only 16 at the time.
yeah, and everyone else in your class was
Old.
in their 40s and 50s,
Yeah.
and I felt like I naturally had abilities that they were fumbling around, and I was a little bit bored in the class because I felt like I already knew
Yeah.
the content, and I was a little bit cheeky and mucking around. I think we were standing there, we were paired up and we had our hands up and we were trying to feel each other's energy from like a foot away, and I was trying to push my lady over with my energy, and she kept tilting backwards and saying, what's happening? What's happening? And you smiled and said, what'd you say?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't remember this.
Back. This is going back
How
like
many years is this going back?
Well, I'm 34 now, and this was when I was 16.
so 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. You walked over and you said, oh, Hayley's playing tricks on you. She's trying to push you over.
Because you were playing, because that was the idea of the class, is trying
Yeah.
to work out what energy is, how it feels. And you were just playing. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think during that time that I had that psychologist, it was really pivotal because I was at a point in my life where I was feeling like a black sheep in school, and I was in the public school system where you just meant to sit and shut up, and I was wagging school every day, but I also loved learning and I loved school, but I didn't know how to channel my energy, and I think I was getting into trouble with I think I got arrested, and my mum said, you need to see a psychologist. So I said, okay, Mum, whatever makes you happy. And I sat down with this psychologist and I said, I'm not talking to you for the whole hour. I'm just here to keep my mum happy. And she said, well, what can we do that will benefit you and your mum? And she pulled out some angel cards and started talking to me about animal guides. And she asked me a question. She said, why do you think you chose your parents before you incarnated? Why did you choose your mum and your dad? And it was a really interesting question that nobody had asked me before, and made me think about why I'm here and why I chose my parents and why I chose this life and what I'm doing. And she gave me purpose and direction and guidance from a spiritual and emotional standpoint. And then not long after, I got my horse Primo, which I have tattooed here, because he was like a beautiful grandfather energy and nurtured me in an emotional sort of way and was like my protector. And around this time, my dad also sat me down and had a conversation with me that also stands out to me. And he said, he encouraged me to break the rules and to be a rebel. He was also the black sheep of the family. And I'd had adults my whole life saying, Hayley, you've got to follow the rules and do what you're told. And when I was 14, 15, being sat down by my dad when I was up there for my yearly trip in Queensland to visit him, and he said, I want you to continue breaking the rules because that means that you're not going to be a sheep or a citizen turning into a good citizen who's going to make someone else rich. And he said 90% of society does this, no offense to them, but he said that's not your path and you need to continue breaking the rules but also get a good education and break the rules in the right way and turn into an entrepreneur, because if you continue breaking the rules in the wrong way, then you'll end up in jail. So he reframed that for me and basically said it's okay to be a rebel, but you can't be a rebel without a cause. You have to be a rebel with a cause. So I continued breaking the rules, but I continued going to school, and I never really had a full-time job. I always worked for myself as a photographer. Went to uni after I finished school and got a diploma of photography, and then I always freelanced and was my own boss. But then my life started going a bit off track in my early 20s. And
As it does.
yeah, and then I did a Reiki course, which changed my life. I thought I was just there to learn a bit of energy healing to use on myself, but it was like an initiation and debilitated me for months as I went through this sort of death and rebuilt myself from the ground up, and then I had a Kundalini awakening after that and disconnected completely from the life that I'd been living up until then and pivoted from that Hollywood MK Ultra lifestyle of partying and looking and living a certain way to being a bit of a hermit and a hippie and learning about health and spiritual development.
Finding yourself.
Finding myself, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell
Yeah, that's a lot.
my
That's good.
journey.
I like the fact that one of your parents told you to break the rules in the right way,
Yeah.
not in the wrong way. So it was kind of like a good parenting style is like, if you're going to break the rules, just break it in the right way. Don't end up in jail.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, they're saying be your authentic self.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not saying like break the rules, go steal a candy bar and get arrested. It's like don't follow the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like how you was talking about I was in the same boat when I was a kid. Like I had all these adults and I thought adults knew everything. And I was asking them big questions and they're like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, what do you mean you don't know? It's like you guys are meant to know everything.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had more wisdom, more knowledge than them at 12 than what they did in their 40s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really align with that.
Yeah.
Asking adults for, their wisdom, their knowledge and how to navigate through this reality or life or whatever. What's your take on that?
I remember going to the doctors when I was a kid and I was mentally remembering all of my symptoms and really going into a lot of detail with this 70-year-old GP and telling him I've had this symptom, this symptom, this symptom and feeling like this and at this time of the day I do this and blah, blah, blah. And he'd listen to me and then at the end of the appointment he'd write a script for antibiotics. And then I noticed the second, third, fourth, fifth time I went, he would always, like each time I would have different symptoms and different issues and I would think I'm going to get a different medicine and every single time he would give me antibiotics and I started to think, hang on, these are all different sicknesses, related to different parts of the body and I was only like 6 or 7 or 8 years old at the time but that was when I started to lose confidence in adults and relating to the body and health because I realised they're just giving this one treatment of antibiotics every single time. So I've always had a fascination with the body, really enjoyed studying biology and psychology in high school. And I didn't know how biology and psychology and photography and business management as subjects would all come together, but it has. With kinesiology and photography, my obsession with learning about the body and health and natural health and psychology all interrelates with kinesiology and taking your power back and checking in with your own body and acknowledging symptoms that you're having on an emotional or physical level and addressing that in a way that makes sense rather than just having some antibiotics.
Yes, it is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that they gave antibiotics to a 6-year-old.
Oh, yeah. My whole childhood, that was the answer, antibiotics.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think that's really wrong.
It was pink liquid and it tasted nice. So it kind of felt like a treat, but looking back, it just destroys your gut bacteria.
Yeah.
And if you have it once a year, you have a 40% chance more likely in getting depression. So if you're having it twice a year, then it's like 90% or something like that, more chance of getting depression.
Wow. Okay.
And that's how GPs work. They just fill out scripts for antibiotics.
Like I know they give antibiotics. I'm just shocked that they give it to such young children. That's what I'm more shocked at because it is extremely harmful to the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm quite shocked at it.
I mean, it has its uses in certain times, but it's definitely overused and we're not looking at the key symptoms, which is where naturopathy and kinesiology are really useful, Chinese medicine, because it looks at the root cause. And when I became a mum, I decided to do a kinesiology introductory course just to learn what my parents didn't understand and what the GP didn't understand about health. I thought I would learn it for myself. So if my kids have any issues, then I can use Chinese medicine and natural therapies to help heal them.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And then I enjoyed it that much that decided to turn it into a profession.
And that's what happens. You go along the path and next thing you know, you're like, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing. Like, what's the next question?
My question is, how did your family and friends react to when you decided to pursue a career as a healer?
Well, their reactions were all different depending on their levels of understanding. A lot of people they didn't say much. It's like they didn't want to talk about it. I remember being at my mum and stepdad's house and talking about it with my stepdad, and he said, I don't know if I believe in that. He said his son had a kinesiology session and she went into all these past lives. He fell asleep and woke up, and all she said to him was, you're a bad man in a past life and we were an adulterer and you ruined all these lives, and I've fixed it for you. So off on your way and give me your money and see you later. So
Wow, really?
yeah, so that was my stepdad's impression of what a kinesiologist was, and I think he was a little bit embarrassed that now his stepdaughter is becoming one of these people that his son had a bad experience with. So then I had to re-educate him on what kinesiology is and explain to him that we predominantly work in this lifetime because there's that much that you need to work on in this lifetime. You don't really need to go to past lives unless it's someone that has already done a lot of work and they're ready to do past life regression. But we didn't really touch on that much in the course. My experience of past life stuff is what I've learnt through you, Jason. So I just explained to him that it's really working on getting to the root cause of symptoms on a physical and emotional level, and reframing and reprogramming the subconscious. And it's a really gentle and powerful modality. And then one of his friends, my mum's best friend, got a session the following day while she was over from visiting, and I gave her her very first kinesiology session in the lounge room. And then she went back and gave me a raving review to my parents and said, it was really good, and I'm feeling very at peace and feeling a shift. So I think they were surprised, and that might have reframed it for them firsthand to hear that feedback from someone that they respected and uses their language. So that was good to have that happen, because sometimes you can't really break through that barrier with people. They just have their misconceptions and it's a bit of a brick wall and you can't really get through it. So just getting feedback from a friend who's had a session and has had a positive experience is sort of the way to go, I think.
It's come a long way from the last 20 years when I first started, where people were like, what the hell are you doing? What's this rubbish? Where now it's people are a lot more open to receiving, or like, oh yeah, is it like Reiki? It's like, well, yes and no, it's energy work. Because people instantly go to Reiki and it's like, well, it's energy, but it's not quite like that.
Yeah.
But at least people have a understanding of it's energy work and it's this work and it's that work. People, you know what I mean? People are a lot more open than what they were.
Yeah. And then you've got the friends that aren't ready to take control of their own healing, and they'll start to push you away because they see subconsciously you as, they connect that with what they're not doing right in their own lives, whether it's drugs or alcohol or just issues in their life that is making them spiral. So they kind of shoot the messenger, I think, when they see someone who is on a path of integrity and moving forwards in their life, and that annoys them.
Because also, Hayley, you are stepping into a totally different frequency.
So, and they don't understand it, so they I've had very close friends who have just become totally distant and call it my hippie. I don't want to know about you and your hippie. But I'll take a free healing.
Yeah.
And then I'll go have some on the weekend.
Yeah.
And
I had that.
Yeah, I've had to explain to them that it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
You either pick that lifestyle of the cocaine and casual sex and all of that stuff, or you pick your healing journey and facing your traumas and moving through them and moving towards what you're really here to do in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of mixed.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah,
It's a joy.
it is.
And you'll find that a lot of people will drop off.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that already in the past 12 months.
Yeah. Anything you got to say about, because you've studied being a shaman and you've done energy work, you are an energy healer.
Well, my journey, I guess my journey is the same as a lot of other people's. It was just I moved away from my friends though. That was the difference. So unfortunately, when I was younger, I was very cutthroat. So I would actually all of a sudden I'd have a group of friends, and then I'd have some new friends come through that were on the same alignment with me, and then without even thinking, I would actually go for those friends. It was very different. It was very different for me. It wasn't that it was like the friends would drop off, but it was like I was on this path, now I'm on this path, and I just went straight for that path.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not always good to be like that, because I completely just let go of the old friends without giving them an explanation why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was very different for me. But the healing journey was awesome. Training to be a shaman was awesome. But yeah, it is similar in a way where you kind of lose your friends along the way because you are on a different journey and your language starts to become different.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
It's
how
relatable for them.
yeah, how you talk to them and how they talk to you is different. So for those friends, like you would need to talk their language for them to understand you, or they would need to talk your language. And sometimes it doesn't always work. Yeah.
When I have a healer on the table, I love healers on my table because we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
As soon as you get somebody you'll find that too. As soon as you get somebody that is new, has no idea, you do have to like be mindful of what you say, how you say it. You have to be a lot more layman because they just don't understand.
It's like what you said with your family when your parents found out that you're choosing this path, the language is going to change.
Yeah.
How you talk to them is going to change.
Yeah. I don't mention chakras or auras or things like that.
Yeah.
I say things that maybe a little bit more medical, like meridians or name the organs, because that's all part of it. But I steer away from the certain words that might trigger them.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, you're good. I didn't care.
But I'm trying to bring healing into the 3D world as well. I don't want to just have clients that are hippies. I want to have clients that are nurses and receptionists and mechanics. So I'm trying to...
And you will.
Yeah, be able to reword the language so that anyone can really understand it and relate to it and find value in it.
You'll find that being a naturopath is more of a mainstream healing modality.
Yeah, Chinese medicine as well.
Chinese medicine, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Chinese medicine.
Yeah, and that's really what kinesiology is built off, Chinese medicine.
Chinese medicine's amazing.
Yeah, I love Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
I think people in my life started to become more curious as they saw my life was improving and they saw that I was embodying a more confident, happier version of myself, which I owed to kinesiology. So I think that started to make them a little bit more curious about it.
Because it does change you.
Yeah,
It sort of, you could say, rebuilds you.
it does. My posture's different. The way I speak is different.
More confident,
Yeah,
more self-assured.
yeah.
I like kinesiology for me, how I think of it is it's closer related to the body, like you said, like the energetics of the body, but also the physical nature of the body.
Yeah,
Because I remember like Sharon, we had a mutual colleague, Sharon, she would use kinesiology for me, but it was based on like what my physicality is going on.
Talking about muscle testing.
Like the muscle testing, because I had different kind of kinesiology. I had a kinesiology when I first got into the energy side of things. I saw a lady who was a kinesiologist, but I would lay down and my arm would be kind of propped up like this, and she looked like she was knitting.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Oh, is that what you? Yeah. Whereas Sharon would do more of
Yeah.
this kind of muscle testing, or she would have a finger.
Yep.
And she would muscle test that way. And that's what I liked about kinesiology, because I guess for me at that point in time, I understood like, well, my leg is sore. So this is like, what's wrong with your leg, and you'd get a reaction out of the body.
Yeah.
Whereas with your modality, I love your modality as well, but sometimes it's kind of hard to understand your modality from a perspective of someone who is more visual on a physical nature. So that was the two different, because it's really, I like how having your modality here to be able to talk to you, which is more of the energetics, like the energetics of everything, and your modality here, which is a combination of the energetics and the physicality.
Yeah.
So it's really, I only just realized that now, it's really cool to have both of you here to be able to share that
Yeah.
and the differences, how I see it.
And they're blending them together. So you'll be able to eventually blend that together.
Yep.
So you'll be able to do what you do with your craft and then blend in the energetics.
And then take it to a whole new level, like what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I throw my protocols out the window and I just intuitively.
Yeah, and you'll do that as you get more confident as through the years. You'll just start to establish your own style or technique. Yeah, and that will just be crazy good.
Yeah.
Because Jason, when you started learning Chiron, you were by the book.
Yes, everything was by the book. Now, books are out the window. No
Through
books.
the years of what we have learned and understood, you throw that into the mix because that has opened your encyclopedia of knowledge. It's like when you first started, you had no idea that this particular being even existed or this even existed. Now, with all the knowledge that you have accumulated, you're like, oh, yeah, I clearly see this happening over here and this happening over here and this happening over here.
Yep,
And that's something that you'll also do as well.
Yes.
most definitely you will.
You'll make it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the magic happens. So when you start studying modality, you do everything by the book because you have to.
Yeah.
But then as time goes on, you get more confident, have more clients coming through. You'll just be more of a channel for the energy, and you just open up your toolbox. You just use what you need to use.
Yeah. And I've noticed already that some clients will lead me more in a body sort of way, and then some clients will lead me in a more etheric sort of way, and we'll look at the auras or the chakras, or some people are more psychological. So we're talking a lot about reprogramming the mind and EFT tapping and that sort of stuff. So it's interesting how every person has their own flavor and that guides the session.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
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 It is cool. Can you, Hayley, explain what energy healing is for our listeners who might not be familiar with this concept?
Yeah, we have all different systems in our bodies. We've got the muscular system, the skeletal system, lymphatic system, and I work on the energy system, which is your chakras, meridians, auras, transpersonal chakras, and...
Do you work on light bodies too?
Well, I'd say that's auras.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just being technical.
Yeah, can I actually ask with both of you, would aura and light bodies be the same thing for people who are listening?
Yeah, light bodies are within the auric field, but I was all of a sudden getting like the mental body, the etheric body, the mental body.
Yeah, we learnt that in
astral.
auras, how there's 7 different layers
Yeah.
of the aura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the aura and the frequency bodies
Ah,
can-
within the aura.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the aura is the outside egg casing shell.
So the physical, my understanding is, I don't know if that's the same of your thinking or knowing, is that physical body is actually sitting within
In the center?
within the auric field.
Yeah. And then you've got the frequency bodies going out
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're the
7
different
different
colours.
layers of the aura.
like an onion.
Yeah.
And then the aura is, according to you, the outside of it. Whereas yours, the 7 different layers is the aura.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I
Okay.
learnt.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And we use muscular feedback. So we ask the body yes and no answers going off different scan charts. So we've got this 5-element emotion chart, which is based off the 5 different elements. So we have all of these different elements within our body and within nature. So Chinese medicine says that everything in nature is made up of these 5 different elements.
So fire,
Fire,
wood, earth.
metal,
Yep.
water and wood. And as people, we have a constitution where we have predominantly one element. So I'm a fire and I have water as my secondary element. And getting to know what your element is really useful and interesting. And I used to quiz my kinesiologist's brain over the years and would watch her going through these, and she would fine tune it down to through the muscle testing, she would narrow it down to a specific emotion that was relevant to whatever I was going through at that time. So it might come up as anger, which is within the liver. So if you're suffering with anger, it'll over time affect your liver. And once you've narrowed it down to the key emotion, you would then age recess and look at what age that particular emotion is relating to. So if I'm 34 and anger has come up, I'd look at 30s, 20s, teens. Okay, 12 years old is coming up. Then you'd look at the involvement. So it's either self, male, female, parents, a circumstance, and it will show a stress response when you're asking the right question. And then you'd say, okay, so it's age 12, the emotion is anger, and it's to do with a male, what happened, and you would ask the person that. And so it's a symbiotic thing. So they're not just asleep receiving this healing. It's a conversation, and you're asking, okay, this is what's coming up. This is what's ready to clear for you. And then they would give some information on that and say, oh, this happened, this event happened at this age, and I felt really angry at that time. And then we'll say, okay, well, your body's ready to clear this, and here are the remedies that are coming up. So I work a lot with acupressure points. So I've brought my little acupressure meridian point poster, which I would muscle test off. So I would narrow it down to which meridian. So working with the liver, the meridian runs from the big toe all the way up the body to under the nipples, and then you would narrow it down to an acupressure point within that, and just simply hold on that point, and you feel a pulse. So it's either underactive or overactive, and one side might be pulsing and the other side wouldn't. So we're working on both sides of the body at the same time, and it's like recharging a car battery. So my meridian, my liver meridian, is recharging their liver meridian, and eventually after 2 to 5 minutes, I start to feel that pulse that's in sync. And then after holding that acupressure point and feeling the pulses come back into rhythm, then I would move to other remedies which clear things on a vibrational level, such as these sky flower flower essences. So we'd muscle test which flower essence is coming up. So red star, I keep having red star. That's to do with regret. I pull one every day for myself. And it has, so I have a book that comes with it, and it says the negative association that you might be going through. And then once you get the healing from this specific flower, it'll bring in the positive sides of that, which might be peace and acceptance or something. They're all different. There's a guy in Melbourne that goes around collecting sky flowers and turning them into these beautiful healing drops.
Yeah, same with the Chiron. We have 100 essences that you can use. Yeah, they're very helpful.
Yeah, some people use bushflower remedies or the back flower. And I go through a lot of Jason's spray.
You and me both.
So I'm always spraying my clients with this. And I also do a lot of entity removal. I don't know if that's my specialty, but when I was studying, every person that I was teamed up with would have an entity or someone in the room, and I'd seem to be paired up with them and quite good at removing those negative fields. And yeah, people are always asking me to come to their houses to clear their houses.
I used to do that a lot. Don't do it anymore. It takes too much out of you. But it's a good experience to learn how to clear.
It is. Yeah. It's been really handy for my kids. My original intention was to help my kids or myself, and my 6-year-old he's an empath, and he has dreams and things, and he'll wake up in the middle of the night and we'll do some healing. I'll get out the singing bowl or tuning forks and get him to have that self-responsibility and explain to him that he can ask them to leave, and instead of just saying, oh, it's a figment of your imagination, which was told to me, I'd say,
Yeah, me too.
okay, it's real for you. This is what we're going to do. You have power over it. It's not allowed to be here. Earth is a free will zone. You can ask it to leave 3 times. And he would do that, and he'd say, oh, the buzzing in my head stopped. Thank you, Mum. It's worked. So that's also helped to build that relationship and trust between me and him. One thing I wanted to talk about was my practice that I do for myself to keep myself in tune. I was doing a self-healing, a 1-hour kinesiology balance on myself, and being a busy mum, it seemed like a little bit too much to try and carve out 1 hour a week. So I distilled it down to a 5-minute exercise that I do every day. So I'll just, whenever I'm feeling a bit irritable or I'm starting to lose my patience with people around me, I'll go into my healing room. I'll just acknowledge to myself how I'm feeling, what emotion I'm feeling. Then I'll go to that elements chart, and for the last month my water has been out. And these relate to a specific time of the day. So every 2 hours we're going through a different organ, and kidney is 3 to 5 p.m, I think, and I was feeling a big slump around that time. And yeah, so emotions like anxiety and indecisiveness were coming up, fear. I cleared that just from staying on top of it on a daily basis. So I'd muscle test the emotion every day for over a month. It was always in kidney. And then I would get my meridian chart out, and it might be within the kidney meridian or it might be in a different one. And then I would hold that I'd hold that acupressure point for a few minutes, grab a flower essence, and I'm done. And I would feel already
Heaps better.
10 times better after just grabbing an acupressure point and a flower essence. And then also reading about that meaning of the acupressure point in my Spiritual Portraits of the Acupressure Points book. That's what I do every day to keep myself
Clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
It just sounds like what I used to do when I first started.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I used to do was the Chiron, because I also studied a bit of Chiron as well. I think you showed everyone on YouTube as well. It was like you clear up the aura, and then you had to like swirl it, but then you shoot it up into the air, which
We don't do that anymore.
Don't do that anymore. It's kind of, but yeah, I used to do that quite a lot too. How do you use energy to manifest and create what you want to create?
Well, that's a good question, Alison, because for most of my life I've struggled with insomnia, and I've always been really good at accessing creative ideas and intuition, but haven't been able to really channel it in a positive way. It's just been a big soup of information and inspiration in my mind, and I'm constantly feeling inspired and enthralled in these ideas and inspirations, and constantly getting ideas, but then it's like very ADHD, not knowing how to channel it, where to go with it, and kinesiology is really what opened the doors to me harnessing my creative energy and channeling it in a positive way rather than it controlling me and turning me into an insomniac up all hours, writing and creating. So through kinesiology, I learnt that all imbalances are there to communicate something, and we can channel these imbalances into our power. And for me, it was being such a dreamer, and it's like I was just so creative and didn't know how to channel it. So I learnt the practice of grounding and pulling that information down through my higher chakras, and it didn't just get stuck there and swim around in my brain as creative inspiration. It actually got pulled down into my lower chakras, which I guess would be through activating the womb and the sacral chakra and resetting that base chakra and the foundation, and then pulling the energy right down into my feet and in connecting to Mother Earth. So it's like a continual circuit coming through the higher chakras and passing down through my feet. And then I could actually turn my energy into tangible projects and not be wired like up all night. I could actually sleep and access that creative energy any time of the day or night and function properly as an adult with routines and go about my daily life. Because it used to only really come through between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. and I would just feel so excited and not want to go to sleep because I knew I'd wake up and the creative magic would be gone and I'd have to be an adult and drive here and run errands and I wouldn't feel alive and magical again until 11 p.m. and I'd feel really frustrated about that. But kinesiology helped me learn how to ground those energies.
Yeah, for me, I just learnt to be a tree.
Yeah.
You learnt to be a tree.
Yeah.
Because it's all about grounding.
Yeah.
Just allowing a way for you to help with the energies and just funnel it into your physical world or life.
Yeah.
And then having that beautiful creative energy just ready to create anything at really any time that you chose. That's cool.
That is cool.
So what have you manifested this far? So you pretty much a qualified practitioner. You've got a space, a room that you do it from. Mm-hmm. So you've created that.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much creating a whole new life with whole new experiences. And it's happened actually quite quickly, really.
Yeah.
Well, over 12 months.
Well, doing my kinesiology course for the year, it was like emotional rehab and made me address every area of my life. And yeah, I'm a different person prior to the course and after the course. I did it for personal reasons to help me be less anxious and more grounded, but it achieved my expectations way beyond that so that I can now facilitate other people that are going through similar issues that I was going through. And even with my photography as well, it's helped. Yeah, just having confidence to put myself out there. I used to have imposter syndrome.
Oh, I heard of that, people saying that.
Yeah, it's something I don't really talk about, but I was too scared to advertise myself. I knew I was a good photographer and I knew that all my clients were happy with my work, and I'd see photographers that weren't very skilled that were fully booked, and I'd be really confused about that. And then it wasn't until I really delved deep into the kinesiology that I integrated aspects of myself that had fragmented through trauma. And then once I had brought all of those fragmented pieces back in, the imposter syndrome went away, and now I feel confident to advertise myself, whether it's for the energy work or through the photography. I actually I wouldn't have been able to do a podcast 2 years ago.
Because I've been wanting to book you in for about 3 months, and I kept on getting not
ready yet.
Not ready. No.
Yeah.
No.
So here I am, no makeup on, speaking candidly
Sharing-
about my life.
Yeah.
Actually, I
And
had no idea that you had no makeup on. I thought you had makeup on.
no.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I've got eyelash extensions, but no, this is how I wake up.
Wow. Okay, so it goes. So to me, that shows me that you're actually living a life that you enjoy,
Yeah.
because of the fact that your face, you don't need to put makeup on
Yeah.
to cover it up to make yourself look better. You're
Yeah.
actually enjoying, and that's the energy that's running through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're doing what you love
Yeah.
and you're on purpose, when you feel like you're on purpose, everything's flowing and you just
Yeah.
in this
It's
amazing
a huge
energy.
difference.
I'm not wearing that mask anymore that I
Yeah.
used to wear to try to appear a certain way. And that's all conditioning from society and Hollywood. Look a certain way, act a certain way. But we have to break out of those molds.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Yeah.
So how you said the course went for a year. Mm-hmm. Was it something that you gave all your time to because of being a mother, or was it something that you could actually share the time between? Obviously, you had to share the time between children and doing the course, but was it easy to balance just for people who could be interested in it?
Yeah, so I studied EMK kinesiology, so that's emotional and metaphysical kinesiology. It's a worldwide recognised course that was started by a lady called Denise from By the Bay Kinesiology in southeast of Melbourne. And she started this modality because she realised that PKP, the traditional kinesiology, is a little bit more clinical and lacking with the metaphysical and emotional side. So she started this really yin, heart-centered modality, started it in Melbourne, and she teaches it online. There's a lot of people in Ireland and England and all over Australia that are doing it. And you can do it at your own pace. So you can pick up the modules as you want. So if you want to do it as fast as you can, then it would take a year. But I actually took an extra 6 months to get the homework in and to do all the other businessy stuff like setting up an ABN. And it really goes with your own journey of healing. It's not like a traditional course. It's like when you're learning about the chakras, you're also purging everything in your own chakras. So you might have a big block around giving your homework in because you might have a block in that particular chakra. So, and you have 5 years to actually hand it in, which is great.
Okay.
Wow, 5 years.
Yeah, that's okay. So
So-
people can take time.
Yep.
Okay.
People can do it at their own pace because it does change your life. Everything in your life will change for the better, but it's a big upheaval. So they understand that and they let you do it at your own pace. And and then you've just got to put yourself out there because we can get into the trap of perfectionism and think I'm not ready yet. When I have this, I'll be ready. When I look like that, I'll be ready. But you've just got to take the plunge and define what it is, what success is to you. I mean, you might not want to have something as grand as having a healing centre. You might be happy with having 2 or 3 clients working from home a week. Define what success is to you and don't be scared to pursue it.
Yeah,
because
cool.
everyone's success looks different.
Very cool.
My question also is, could you do this on, so I have Infinite Healing on YouTube. Could you possibly do that on YouTube or have clients come to you through Zoom?
Yeah, so we do learn online sessions. So we surrogate the energy. So if anyone is below the age of 6 in person, the mother would surrogate the energy. So you don't have to bring your child along. The mum would be on the bed or table and we would say, so if their child's name is Sam, the mum would say, I'm now surrogating for Sam, and the muscle would release once they're surrogating, and then the remedies would be applied to the mother, acupressure points, and she'd be holding the energy for the child. And then whatever issue the child might have, whether it's social anxiety or bedwetting or something, you'd notice that it would fall away from the session. And then it's the same with online sessions. So during COVID, that was great for me because I couldn't go to my kinesiologist. So I remember doing one outside in the grass with my phone, and my kinesiologist was telling me we got to the root cause of what was going on in my life, and then we would hold the acupressure points together and do some breathing techniques and yeah, so you can do them online.
That's great.
That's really good, yeah.
Because I found that my healing's now becoming more online than not, because people can't travel from America or Alaska or whatever, UK to here. So we do it online and it works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's good to
know.
And
it also really empowers them to know how to heal themselves.
Yeah,
that's
really
excellent. Cool. Yeah, that's really good.
So how do you stay grounded and maintain your energy while working with clients, which is a really interesting one?
Prior or during a session?
During a session.
Well, prior to the session, I'll do a quick 5-10 minute energy tune-up to myself to make sure my nervous system is balanced and I'm grounded and connected and feeling calm. And during the session, remembering to stay in a neutral state, because we can get a little too in the yang and forcing the healing and wanting an outcome, but we need to realize that you should be in a neutral state. So they're receiving the healing, and how that translates to them in their life isn't up to you. You're just facilitating
the energy.
Yeah.
Do you ever get, the only way I can describe it is, do you ever get caught up in the client's energy in the emotional side of things when you're doing the healing? And I guess that's probably also how to stay grounded as well. It's like,
not if you're in a neutral space. If you're pulled into a enmeshed place of feeling triggered and feeling like you're also going through their pain, it's indicating that they're mirroring something that you haven't healed in your own life. And I think to draw yourself back to the neutral state, you just make a mental note to say, okay, this is showing me a mirror of what I need to work on. I'll write that down for later, but we're going back to a non-judgmental neutral state of just receiving and feeding that healing onto them and not getting stuck in the mind. I think we've got to get out of the mind and stay in the body and in the heart space.
Thank you. What advice would you give to someone who is interested in exploring or pursuing a career in energy healing?
Go for it. The world needs more healing. I would say for every energy, spiritual book that you read, make sure you balance it with reading a business book as well. So if you read 20 books on healing, you should also be reading 20 books that year on finance and business, because we live in a world where we need to understand about business so that we can get our healing work out to people and clear your own blocks, procrastination, shame, jealousy, whatever that may be. You need to clear that or it'll just get in the way. Quitting what makes you distracted. I think as when we're starting businesses, we think, what do I need to bring into my life? What course, what certificate, what book, what seminar? But I think we have to reframe our minds into thinking, what do we need to take out? What is taking up a lot of our time? Is it the scrolling on Instagram? Is it the procrastinating about what to do next? Is it the limiting self-doubt? Is it toxic relationships that are dragging you down? What is it that is pulling you down or distracting you? And eliminate that. And do one thing for your business every single day, even if it's just a 5-minute activity, because it keeps the ball rolling and it compounds over time. And don't look for validation from friends and family. because you'll get more validation from strangers that you've never met before.
Yep.
They'll be the ones that are saying, well done, you inspired me, you helped me to get from here to here. Thank you for that. That's where you'll be receiving it from. Don't look for it from your friends and family. And if you do get it from them, that's a bonus, but don't expect it from them. Also, people don't appreciate what they don't pay for, because I think when we're starting off, we can give things away for free, and then it's hard to charge once people expect things for free. So you could have a lead magnet that's free, that you're gaining their email address for your newsletter list, but don't give away free healings unless it's specifically for case studies and testimonials. But most likely those people that you did free healings for to get a testimonial for, they won't be turning into paid clients, because that's how they sort of see you, as a freebie. So do some free ones for testimonials and then cap it there, and then start charging what you're worth. And yeah, you can do it.
Awesome. Thank you. I was it's with any course that you do, if whatever, doesn't matter what you're studying. I don't know why I got lashes, but for some reason I got lashes. If you're doing a lash course, start off by maybe doing your friends and family for free, because you get the practice in, like you did a lot of practicing with your healings and stuff like that. But then also have worth and value of actually charging people, and don't feel like you have to undervalue yourself pretty much.
I did like 8 years of free healings.
8 years. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
When did you start charging people, and how did that go for you?
I started charging people when I actually just got in my head, you need to start charging for this. And then as soon as I started doing that, people are like, what do you mean I have to give you – this should be free. This is a service to humanity. This needs to be free. I'm like, oh, but I need money. And I'm really good at it now. So I had to get to a level of self-worth, which you didn't take as long to get to, but it took me a long time to get to a level of self-worth. Before I felt like I could charge. And then I didn't even charge a lot. It was $60.
Yeah, because back then everyone was expecting energy healings to be free because it's,
Yeah.
Sorry, go.
And now I'm $200 an hour.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. I think it should be more, but anyway, that's just me. Because you're good at what you do. You're great at what you do.
But for a beginner healer, my thing is, you need to, because it is like an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And you got to go through that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because you are qualified and you've done all the work, you do need to charge for it.
Yeah.
Because it's an exchange of energy.
Because it's your business. It's
Well,
not
we
like,
had to do about 60 free healings within the course.
Yeah.
it'd be like if McDonald's didn't charge for their meals.
Yeah.
They just gave burgers out for free.
Yeah.
How are they going to retain their profit?
And I had the same thing with photography. Like, it doesn't cost anything for you to send me over some files. And I'd say, well, you wouldn't say that to your accountant, would you?
No.
So why say it to a photographer or a healer? Yeah. Be really firm with your boundaries, because people will walk all over you. Yeah.
And it's a really wise thing that you said also about if you're going to read about doing a course, then also balance it out with reading finance and business.
Yeah.
Because we do live in a world where it is required that we do need to have an exchange of money.
Yeah.
It is a money financial system here. So
And the spiritual world needs some corporate structure.
and vice versa too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The corporate world needs some spirituality brought into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it does work. It is good that you brought that up, because it's something that I probably would never have thought of, but I can see why it is very invalid now.
Yeah, it keeps you in that yin and yang, because it's fun reading spiritual books, and it's probably less fun reading business books, but it keeps us balanced. And also dive into your traumas, because every tear is a paycheck.
That's cool. I get that.
Yeah, and then you can help people that are going through that,
That's good too.
because your biggest flaw is your biggest gift. So you might think it's a flaw, but how can you transmute it into your biggest gift.
That's also true too.
Yeah.
That's good too, yeah.
I used to think me being a bit of a space cadet, a dreamer, was a flaw, and I would try to hide it and conceal it. And now I understand that it's just me tapping into my creative energy, and it's a gift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I was the same as a kid.
Yeah.
Yep, Space Cadet, Peter Pan, got caught at all by the family.
Yeah.
You're not going to make anything of yourself, mate. What the hell are you doing? Are you gay? And it's like, no, and no. This is what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
And then just gave them all the finger.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still a bit
It's
of a
gonna do
space
you.
cadet.
Yeah.
Very good. Do I want to? They're around.
Do you want to?
I've got them around.
Do they want to say something?
Yeah, they want to say something.
Hayley, do you want to hear from them?
Sure.
I'm trying to do a fiver.
Do they know what a fiver is?
They don't give a shit about time.
No, they don't, because time doesn't exist where they are.
Yes, we are here. Thank you for having us, and welcome, Hayley, to Phoenix Awaken podcast. You've done very well to express yourself indeed.
Thank you.
It has been a fascinating journey with the three of you discussing different types of healing modalities and the specialness of the energy in your space with you all. We will say this: healing thyself is very important. And as we've said before in many podcasts, it does come down to the individual to do the healing within. Therefore, healing and supporting the healing of the collective to raise its vibration to a new way of being, which is well indeed needed at this moment in time. Excuse us while we are more integrating into Jason. Some days are easier than others. Let's start with a question from one of you ladies.
What advice do you have for someone starting out in relation to promotion and marketing?
Well, as you've already said before to everyone, is simply putting yourself out there on your social media. But it's more than that. It's feeling ready to express and put yourself out there. It's having the confidence within yourself to know that you can do the job or the healing energy work to help another. And with saying this, we would say you need to help yourself first, attend to your own garden or backyard before you can help another. And with yourself, Hayley, you have done a lot of that work, so you are now able to help another. And as you said before, as you were having your little break, the more work you do on yourself, the more work and more of the attraction of the client coming to you is because of the work that you've done on yourself. As you said, the law of attraction. So as you're working through something as a healing practitioner, you will find that you will attract that or that mirror of you, and that also will share with you and show you how far you've come within your own healing and your own way of being, you could say.
Thank you.
We will say this: it is time now for all of you to step into some sort of healing frequency, healing yourselves, supporting each other. As you all know, you are in a time of big change here on this planet, your realm, life, your game. It is time for each of you to step up into healing yourselves more and more. This is a much needed approach to your lives now, to work through the traumas and tribulations. Stop playing the victim. Stop playing lesser than, and step into your personal power. This is a very big opportunity for all of you to do so. And you'll find that we are now talking to you, dear Hayley. The more and more you share your energy with the world, the more it will shift as well, even though you feel you only healing one person at a time, but that one person you are helping, supporting, and helping them to heal themselves is changing their frequency to help shift their life, the people, their families and friends around them. So do not think that you are just a little healer. Indeed, what you are doing is very big and grandeur, and we are very happy to meet another healer that is devoted to supporting and helping humanity at this time, because it is needed, very much so needed. Is there any questions, Alison, that you would like to ask us what we are wearing today by any chance?
You know I only do that because I like to have a bit of a giggle with you guys.
Indeed.
And I hope they appreciate it because they don't look like it on Jason's face at the moment.
So that is a no.
But since you brought it up, what are you wearing today?
Nothing today. We are not choosing to wear anything today. We are free. Free as birds. Doesn't that give you an interesting visual?
Being free as a bird does sound quite nice, actually.
It is indeed.
Yeah, it does sound quite nice. For people who are wanting to start out on this journey, because this is a really good conversation, especially in this time of day, especially with all the conversations that Jason and I have had around AI and technology and the growth of everything. Your advice on people who are wanting to start something along these lines but are having, let's say, family or friends deter them from something along this, choosing their own path, being their own authentic self.
Yes, indeed. This is a common thing. You'll find that most healers have been healing for lifetimes. So for you, Alison, Hayley, and Jason, you have been healing for lifetimes. So it is in your cellular, your DNA structures, in your energetics. You're just continuing on the work that you left off another timeline ago. So for those who are wanting or desiring to step forward back into being a healer, we say this: jump in hard, and please do not allow your friends or family to tell you otherwise, because they are, you could say, the hurdles or that part of you that believes you cannot do this, but you are meant to do this. It's also part of your script on many levels to do this work, and perhaps even finish some of the work you didn't get a chance to finish the last time round. Stay true to your heart. Keep out of your head. Feel the energy within you building. Feel the excitement. Feel that it's time for you to step forward, leap forward, dive off the high dive into the ocean of the abyss, and do what feels right. The right modality will come for you. You will be in alignment. As with Hayley, she's aligned with what she's been studying. And with Jason, he's aligned with what he is now doing and has been doing for eons. And as you, Alison, same as you. Yes, we understand why you giggle, but you are a healer nonetheless. Do not stress and worry about what other people think of you or say about you behind your back. Stay true to your path. Stay true to the authentic you, the real you, the essence of who you are. None of that matters. And you will move forward and fly high like an eagle like never before, and share your light and share your healing energy of the world. And this is what you are here to do. And don't ever allow anyone to tell you different, because at the end of the day, they will just drop off, because you will change your frequencies to such a height where you'll be untouchable and nothing will be said bad about you again. And if it is said, just allow it just to be. Allow the water like a duck off a duck's back, you could say. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
There will be many energies and forces out there who will try to stop you from stepping onto your path of healing. and sharing your healing energies and your gifts with everyone around you and who attracted to your energy or your field. So be mindful of this too. There's a lot of forces at this stage of the game that would like all healers to be stopped, or even you could say killed off. We know that's extreme, but this is the case. So keep yourselves in alignment on your path, out of drama as much as you can. As Hayley said, and said beautifully, be neutral, keep in the neutral zone. Don't get caught up in the chaos and the drama of your friends and family. Allow them to be them. That's where they're at that time. You may find some of them may come around, but that is not your concern. Your concern is to stay true to you.
Thank you. I do, while sitting here and talking to both Hayley and Jason, I noticed that the difference in both their modalities and how fascinating it is where Hayley works on the energetic and the physical and Jason works on a lot of the energetic. Can I get your perception on that as well? Because it is a really interesting mix.
There is no judgment on modality at all.
No, not at all. I find it really interesting how they work differently, but it's also the same at the same time.
It is indeed. And you'll find that some people need Jason's modality and some people need Hayley's modality and some people need your modality. There's so many different beautiful healing energies and way to do things, and everybody needs something different because you are all different. You are all needing something different, and all of these modalities work on different levels. So you could say, for example, with what you're working through, Alison, at this time, you are needing somebody like Hayley that can work on the level that something that Jason cannot do. So this is the beauty of so many modalities. They are all beautiful and all powerful and magnificent, all here to do the same job, just expressed differently and on different... we have lost the words like you, Alison. Operating on different levels, you could say. Is this helpful?
It is actually, because I realised sitting here with both Jason and Hayley and really fascinated because I know how Jason works, because being in the healing sessions with him, recording them and also getting healing sessions from him, and just really finding it really interesting having another healer here talk about their perception as well. And I find it fascinating, the differences between them as well.
Well, perhaps, Alison, we've just found another podcast for you, another podcast show. So when you're going to see your friend Hayley for an experience of her modality, you will be able to chat about your experience. And there's different experiences between Jason's healing modality and Hayley's healing modality.
That is a good idea.
We feel that your audience would appreciate that muchly.
That is actually a really good idea. Thank you.
Indeed, that's what we are here to do.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything else before we say goodbye?
Do you have any advice from your perspective for me?
Your journey has been a long one, friend. You have had to go deep into the dark abyss and to come out into the true light or true heart of who you really are. Yes, you've been lost, yet not. The experiences that you've experienced have been well needed for you to awaken into the butterfly that you're awakening into. Follow your heart, follow the calling, the essence of who you truly are. Be mindful of your thoughts, be mindful of your shadow and ego. Keep that at bay and you will be just fine. You will find that you will progress through your healing abilities and your gifts, and there will be so many more gifts that will be awakened within your DNA that you never imagined before. The key is to keep grounded and keep centered, and also to keep yourself being human in your practical day-to-day life. Do not get lost, as Jason has once before got lost within the energetics and forgot his humanity. Do not do that. Keep yourself balanced always. Keep yourself integrated into this magnificent world, this game that you are living in. Experience everything you can, Be non-judgmental of people as much as you can. Being compassionate and understanding. But hold very, very strong boundaries. Do not allow yourself to be walked over anymore, because this will not be good for you on any level. And this is what you are learning now, to step more into, you could say, your powerful woman, your magnificent humanness, and what you have to offer to everyone, including yourself. The moment you start to share your healing energies with others on your table, you will learn much from this, and this will help you expand and grow into even something more spectacular than you could ever imagine. We have not finished yet. We are mindful of our words always. What you perceive at times to be a canyon or something, or a hurdle to jump over, remember it is an illusion. Remember it is not as big as what it appears to be. It will come down to your perception of that. If you can change your perception of that, it will become nothing. So please keep that in mind for your future reference when things will come up for you to deal with in your personal life, your business life, and you as a healer, and you will be splendidly fine. Is that helpful, Hayley?
It is, thank you.
You are very welcome. Last question, please.
How can people navigate this scary landscape?
Interesting word, very colourful word you've used indeed. Remember this, you are all here for the experience, and you all have choices to perceive it to be scary or not. The moment you focus yourselves on the scary world, that world will manifest around you more and more. Those of you who are magical folk or healers or have gifts and abilities, be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of what you say, because it will manifest very quickly around you. So that's what we have to say about that.
Yeah, be mindful.
Since we've lost all of our train of thought with all the cameras shutting down, interesting timing, we will say goodbye. And we've enjoyed this podcast show with you all immensely, and we are looking forward to many more of these conversations with many more people.
It will be good.
Indeed.
Yeah, it will be good.
And to Hayley, welcome to the Phoenix podcast family. It's been a pleasure to meet you and to talk to you, and you should be very proud of yourself on the journey thus far. And to Alison, well done to you. Keep on walking forward. And we are upset with ourselves. We're not throwing Jason under the bus at all today.
I know. What happened there?
Another time.
Thank you very much for sharing your insight and your advice with everyone.
It's a pleasure, and you're all very welcome. Until next time, love and blessings to you all. Goodbye.
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 So, Hayley, could you please just give everybody your info to where they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at www.lightlanguage.com.au or head over to Instagram, which is lightlanguage.hw, and I'll be jumping on YouTube and TikTok at another later date.
Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook, Light Language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. It's been excellent, and we're definitely going to get you back.
It is. Thanks so
you.
much for having me.
It's been good.
Thanks for the conversation. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very informative.
Yeah, very informative.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Yeah.
I learnt a lot. I know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's say goodbye. Let's shut shop.
Okay. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from Hayley. I know we did. I know I personally have learnt a lot from Hayley just by listening to her as well and seeing how far she has come along her journey to where she is now.
Thank you for watching, listening. You'll see us, you'll hear us in the next one, everyone. Love and blessings. See you
Bye.
later. Bye.